Hello, my name is Anka, and today we'll be talking about a big issue for condo buyers: the extra costs and challenges that come with owning a condominium. For that, we'll take a look at a news story from NBC Miami that talks about how hard it can be for some people who live in a condo building. And I'll give you some of my thoughts on why this happens. So let's get started. So I recently came across this article which tells the story of Miami condo residents who are upset over the cost of their building's 40-year recertification process. This process is required by law and involves inspections and upgrades to ensure the building's structural integrity and safety. The residents are facing a staggering cost of over $100,000 per unit for the necessary repairs, which is an enormous burden for many homeowners. This story illustrates the potential financial risk of owning a condo and highlights the importance of understanding the costs associated with homeownership. To avoid being in a similar situation, here are my 10 tips when looking to buy a condo. First one, the importance of due diligence. One key takeaway from the Miami condo story is the importance of conducting a thorough due diligence before purchasing a condo. This means reviewing the building's financial statements, understanding the HOA's reserve fund, and assessing the building's overall condition. The more information you have about the building and its management, the better equipped you'll be to make a sound decision and avoid surprises down the road. The second tip that I have for you is reserve funds and recertification. Another hidden cost that condo owners should be aware of is the reserve fund and contributions and recertification expenses. Reserve funds are set aside by the HOA to cover major repairs and replacements. Ideally, a well-functioned reserve should be able to cover most of these expenses without resorting to special assessments. However, that's not always the case. To avoid surprises, you should always review the reserve fund and inquire about any upcoming recertification or major repairs when buying a condo. Make sure to understand the financial implications of these processes and how they may impact your HOA's fees or result in special assessments. My tip number 3 is about insurance premiums. Insurance premiums are another hidden cost that you may not be aware of. Most of the HOA fees include a portion for the community's insurance policy, which covers the building's exterior, common areas, and shared amenities. However, this policy might not cover your individual unit or personal belongings. So to ensure that your personal property is protected, you'll need to purchase additional insurance. This is known as homeowner's insurance policy, and it covers your unit's interior, personal property, and liability in case of accidents or damage caused by you or your guests. It is important to note that not all insurance policies are created equal, and the cost can vary depending on the location and the value of your condo. For example, if you live in an area with high risk of natural disasters, such as hurricanes or earthquakes, you may need additional coverage to protect against these risks. It's also important to review your HOA's insurance policy to ensure that it provides enough coverage for the community. For instance, the policy should include enough coverage to rebuild the entire building in case of a total loss. My tip number 4 would be about legal fees. Legal fees are another potential hidden cost that can catch condo owners off guard. Sometimes HOAs may get involved in legal disputes with residents, contractors, or other parties. And in such cases, the HOA might need to hire an attorney, and these legal fees can add up quickly. Legal disputes can also arise from these disagreements over rule enforcement, noise complaints, or even property damage. If the dispute cannot be resolved through negotiation or mediation, the HOA may need to take legal action, which can be costly. This is why it's important to understand the HOA's bylaws and rules before purchasing a condo in order to avoid potential disputes. Moreover, it's a good idea to review the HOA's reserve fund and inquire about any upcoming legal cases or potential legal fees that might be charged to the community. These will give you a better understanding of the financial implications of any legal disputes and how they could affect your HOA fees. Tip number 5 is about management fees. These fees can be a significant portion of your HOA fees. While management fees might be necessary for the smooth running of the community, it's important to ensure that these fees are reasonable and justified. HOAs are responsible for managing the day-to-day operations of the community, and in many cases will hire a professional management company to handle these tasks. These companies can take care of the tasks such as maintenance, landscaping, and accounting, between others. But by looking at this management's company track record and reputation and how they managed similar properties, you can get a good idea of whether the management company is likely to provide value for the cost. Read the contract between the HOA and management company. Make sure that the contract clearly outlines the scope of the management company's responsibilities and the fees that will be charged. It's also a good idea to check the performance metrics and penalties for failure to meet expectations in the contract. Tip number 6, utilities. When considering the inclusion of utilities in the HOA fees, it is important to understand the specifics of these arrangements. For example, some HOAs may include a flat fee for utilities, while others may allocate the cost based on usage. In cases where the cost is based on usage, it's important to understand how the HOA is measuring and billing for each resident's individual usage. While the inclusion of utilities may provide convenience and predictable expenses, it's possible that the cost of utilities through the HOA may be higher than what you would pay if you were billed individually. So make sure to consider the potential for cost savings or increased expenses when utilities are included in the HOA fees. Tip number 7 is about amenities. And I'm sure you noticed that condos often have some pretty amazing amenities like pools, gyms, and rooftop decks. However, it's important to remember that these amenities come with a cost, and these costs are part of your HOA fees. First of all, the cost of maintaining these amenities can be significant. This includes the cost of cleaning, repairs, and even staffing in some cases. So when you're calculating your fees, make sure you factor in the amenities that you may or may not be using. You should also consider the potential liability that comes with these amenities. For example, if someone gets injured at the pool or at the gym, the HOA might be held responsible, which could lead to a higher insurance cost and potentially even legal fees. So even if you don't use these amenities, you'll still share the costs associated with them. Tip number 8 is about extra fees for amenities. So on top of all that, there may be additional fees for using certain amenities. For example, some condos charge fees for reserving a party room or for using a steam room, or even renting a cabana by the pool. So make sure you're aware of any extra fees like these ones before you decide to buy a condo. Finally, remember that not all amenities are created equal. Some condo buildings have more luxurious amenities than others, and this can be reflected in the HOA fees. So when comparing condos, make sure you're comparing apples to apples when it comes to the quality and quantity of the amenities. Tip number 9 is about upcoming 2025 legislation. The proposed 2025 legislation may require additional financial planning and preparation for condo associations, as it requires unit-owned controlled condominium associations to maintain a minimum level of reserves for specific building components. The legislation specifies that the following building components must have a reserve fund. First one, the roof, load-bearing walls and other primary structural walls, floors, foundation, fireproofing, plumbing, electrical, waterproofing, and exterior painting. This means that condo associations must have a plan in place to maintain and repair these components, as well as a reserve fund to cover the cost of unexpected repairs or replacements. And failure to comply with the legislation can result in penalties for the condo association, which may be ultimately be passed on to the condo owners in the form of an increased fee. So make sure that you review the financial statements and reserve funds of the condo association before making a purchase. This practice can provide valuable insight into the association's preparedness for the upcoming legislation. Tip number 10, check for transparency and communication in the HOAs. A well-run HOA should prioritize transparency and open communication with its members. This means being forthcoming about financial matters and any upcoming expenses that might affect the residents. Unfortunately, not all HOAs operate in the same way. Some might be vague or even unresponsive when it comes to communicating with their members. This lack of transparency can lead to misunderstanding and erode trust between the HOA and the residents. So to avoid these issues, it's important to pay attention to how the HOA communicates with its members before purchasing a condo. This includes reviewing their website, attending meetings, and asking questions about their policies and procedures. A good HOA should have a clear and accessible website that provides residents with easy access to important documents such as financial statements, meeting minutes, and bylaws. Regular meetings should be held to discuss any upcoming expenses or issues that affect the community, and members should be encouraged to attend and voice their concerns. In conclusion, I believe that owning a condo can be a truly fantastic experience if you're well prepared and informed about the costs and responsibilities that are involved. Do not be afraid, because if it were that bad, nobody would buy a condo. Condos are beautiful, especially those located on waterfronts, if you ask me. And they can provide you with many great benefits and make life easier with the concierge services that they offer. By doing your homework and understanding the financial aspects, you can enjoy the perks of condo living, like amazing amenities and a strong sense of community. A good HOA can make a big difference, creating a positive environment for everyone. Moreover, partnering with a reliable and knowledgeable real estate agent like me can further ease the process, as I will guide you throughout the complexities and handle most of the work, allowing you to remain stress-free. By keeping you involved and knowledgeable, you can make the most of your condo ownership while handling any challenges that come your way with the help of a trusted real estate professional. I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Anka, and I'm a local real estate broker associate here in Southeast Florida. My phone number is 561-568-9318, and I can't wait to get that call from you so that I can show you around and choose the best condo for your needs.